Hey guys, it's Whit here, and it's kind of crazy to say this out loud, but I've officially been in Thailand for 6 months. I remember before moving here, I spent so much time watching YouTube videos trying to imagine what life would be like. I wanted to know if people regretted moving abroad, what daily life actually looked like, what the reality was behind all of the highlighted videos. So now I'm here living it, and I wanted to share what these past 6 months have actually looked like for me. Not just the exciting travel moments, but the everyday moments too, because I think that tells the real story. When I moved to Thailand, I knew things would change. I really just didn't know how much. I think before moving, I imagined every day would feel probably exciting or adventurous. And to be honest, some days are. But then life settles in like it always does. And you create a routine, you find your favorite place, you start doing normal things in a completely different country. And slowly, it just stops feeling temporary. It starts feeling familiar. And that is the best part in the best way because now I have favorite cafes, favorite areas, little routines, places I go without even thinking twice. Life started just becoming my life. And I think that surprised me the most is how quickly somewhere unfamiliar starts feeling normal because now my routine looks completely different than it used to. Most days I'm going to the gym, getting food from my local market, doing everyday things that at one point felt like so new. And I take Muay Thai classes once a week because I'm here on a student visa, which is funny because if you would have asked me a few years ago if I pictured myself living in Thailand taking Muay Thai classes, I probably would have laughed in your face because what? But now it's a part of my week. And I think that's the weird thing about moving abroad. The things that once felt exciting or intimidating and unknown slowly become kind of like ordinary, and not in a bad way but in a comforting way because routine means you're building a life. And I realized that some of my favorite moments here weren't the big travel moments, they're just really simple moments like going to the market, finishing a workout, grabbing my favorite Thai tea, meeting up with people, and then coming home after a normal day realizing like wow, this is my life now. And I think before moving abroad, I imagined constant adventure, like every day would feel exciting. But honestly, most days are regular. And I mean that in the best way possible. Because a regular day here still beats, for me, a regular day back home in the States. And it also just means I found comfort here. Regular means Thailand stopped feeling temporary. It feels like home. And that still surprises me sometimes. And I'll be walking somewhere or eating at places I go to all the time and randomly think like, go, yo, like, girl, you moved across the world. Like it is 5 a.m. where they're at while it's 5 p.m. where you're at. Like 13 plus hours, you are not at home. What's that saying? Never mind. But somehow this became my normal. That feeling hasn't gone away completely. One thing I'm really grateful for is that I haven't done this experience completely alone. Mom is here too, which is something I never imagined when thinking about moving abroad. And having family nearby while adjusting to a new country has meant a lot. There are moments when we're just doing everyday things and I stop and think, wow, we're really living in Thailand. That still feels surreal sometimes. I've also met people here and built a small community of friends, which I think is something people don't talk about enough when moving abroad. Because yes, it can feel lonely at first. You leave behind familiarity, your routines, people you know, and then slowly you meet new people. Connections happen unexpectedly, and over time, those connections make a place start feeling like home. And one of the biggest unexpected parts of these last 6 months has honestly been meeting my boyfriend. Yes, I have a boyfriend. Because if you would have asked me before moving here what I thought my life would look like, that wouldn't have been a part of the picture at all. For a long time, it was just me, single me, doing my own thing, making decisions for myself, being independent, just living in Dallas. And I hadn't gotten really used to that version of my life. So meeting someone and building a relationship while also adjusting to live in another country, that was unexpected. Because somehow I ended up flying across the world and then meeting someone who became so important to me, which still feels kind of surreal when I think about it. Like, wow, my man, he was in Thailand waiting on me. But relationships aren't perfect. You're learning another person while also learning yourself. There are good moments, frustrating moments, funny moments, especially with mine. Moments where you realize relationships take effort no matter where you are in the world. And I think being in a relationship after being single for so long has taught me things too. About compromise, about communication, about making space for another person in your life when you've been used to only thinking about yourself for a long time. And I'm still figuring that out. I definitely don't have all the answers, but it's been one of the experiences that became part of this chapter of my life that I never saw coming. And I think that's something these 6 months have taught me overall. Some of the biggest changes happen in ways you've never planned for. You come expecting one version of your future, and sometimes life quietly gives you something different. I've also traveled while being here too, to places like Krabi, Pattaya, and every trip reminds me of why I wanted this lifestyle in the first place. But honestly, some of my favorite moments haven't even been the big trips. They've been the simple ones, the days where it's just routine, drinking Thai tea, going to the gym, market food, just living, because those are the moments that actually build your life. I think these past 6 months have been less about travel and more about building a life here. Creating comfort, finding community, learning myself differently, and realizing home isn't always one place. Sometimes home becomes people, sometimes home becomes routine, sometimes it becomes a version of yourself you didn't even know existed before. I still do not have everything figured out. I promise I do not. I'm still learning, still adjusting, still growing, but I'm so grateful to be here. Because if you would have told me a year ago I'd be living in Thailand with my mom nearby, meeting someone special, building friendships, and creating a foundation here, I probably, well, maybe I would have believed you because that was my plan. But, here I am, and these last 6 months have been unexpected in a lot of ways, but memorable too. And I think what I really want this channel to become is something inspiring, something so beautiful, something so real, not just highlights of travel or perfect moments, but the actual growth that happens while living abroad. The fun parts, the hard parts, the in between days, all of it. And I want to share that, not just from Thailand, but from wherever life takes me next. I want this space to be about growth and about adventure and figuring life out while still enjoying it at the same time. Because I think that's what this experience has been for me. A mix of learning, exploring, changing, and just living. And I hope that's what comes through in these videos going forward. So yeah, that was my first 6 months in Thailand. Not perfect, not always glamorous, but real and worth remembering. Thanks for spending a little time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!